Step 1 for making your paper beads is to stamp with waterproof ink all over an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I used presentation paper. It has a nice sheen. For paper beads like mine, you'll want to measure along the long side of your paper every half an inch. Flip the paper to the other side, measure in 1/4 of an inch, and then measure half an inch after that. Connect the lines to form long, thin triangles. Cut along the solid lines. Hey everybody, it's Susanna from Papercraft Planet, and I wanted to give you a brief demonstration on how to make the beads in the paper bead bracelet. First, you're going to cut out your shapes according to the shape that you want your finished bead to be, and I will provide pictures and printouts of different measurements I use. We're going to start with just the straight triangle bead. This is half an inch wide, and I used a quilling tool. You'll see if you Google paper bead instructions, you'll find a lot of directions that include rolling these on toothpicks. But if you're going to do a lot of them, I highly recommend the quilling tool. It'll just make your life a ton easier. And all you're going to do is catch the paper and roll it up from the wide end to the small end, making sure to keep a little bit of tension on it so it rolls up tight, all the way like this. And when you get, so it's going to look like that. And when you get near the tip, just add a teeny tiny bit of glue to the end. I'm putting a little bit of just white paper glue on a paintbrush. I've discovered that it gets really gloppy and all over your hands if you do it just about any other way. So your finished bead looks like this, and all you do is pull it off when you're done. Take a jewelry finding pin and stick it right through the center. And then I'm going to put this in a little piece of styrofoam and let the glue harden. And once it's hardened, I'm going to go back with Mod Podge or Glam, which is made by Tattered Angels. It's essentially Mod Podge with glitter in it. It gives a really pretty shimmer to the end effect. And I'm going to go back and coat the bead and let it dry. You can also, if you prefer, brush these in Versamark or roll them over a little pad of Versamark and dip them in UTEE, which is ultra thick embossing powder, and heat set it. Any of those techniques will work just fine to make a hard finish on this. It is sometimes difficult to get them back off the jewelry pen if you've been very generous with your lacquer. So before you do it, go ahead and push them all the way up to the end, and that way if they won't come off, it won't matter. You can go ahead and make your jewelry anyway. Here's the second pattern I'm going to do, and this one is a long rectangle. This is 3/4 of an inch, cut into about half of that in V's from the edge, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to roll it up, and it's going to actually end up looking like a double bead. Same exact way to do it. Let me get it started. And all you do is roll it up. If the bead is too thick for you, go ahead and just make it shorter. Scrapbooking paper makes a thicker bead. You can make it a little bit shorter. Regular typewriter paper with stamping makes a thinner bead. And so you can make it longer. Okay, that's one tail. Now let's go ahead and tighten up the second tail and add a little bit of glue. Right to the tip. Okay, the end result for this one, you can see is, looks like two beads put together at once. Same thing, I'm just going to pull it off, throw a jewelry finding in there, and let it dry. Short little rectangles. This one is half an inch by about 2.75. Exact same thing. This makes a tube. These are, of course, the easiest ones to cut out because you just run them through your paper trimmer. And you can see how fast it is to do it with the quilling tool. It's absolutely worth the $3 or $4 it'll cost you to buy one. And if you enjoy doing these as much as I have, you'll be doing a lot of them. Okay. Pick a glue that dries clear in case it gushes out, but you can see this one looks just like a tube. Same thing, I'm going to pop it out, put my pin in, let that dry, and that's all of them. That's the 3 different styles that I did. You can make a shorter, rounder bead by making longer and longer strips of paper. So the longer you make the paper and the shorter you make the triangle. So in other words, if this was 1/2 inch and I narrowed it down across an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, the bead would be shorter and rounder and it would be more like a ball. Same concept. So play around with your shapes and sizes. When you're done and you've got these all enameled, you'll make the jewelry, and I'll make that a part 2 of this video. Okay, I hope this works. It's hard to try and film yourself in this angle. But I wanted to show you how to make the little end on your bead so that you can make your bracelet. So here the paper bead is on the pin. Any embellishments you want to put on the end, you would have already gone ahead and do that. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add a little black bead right onto the end, like so, and then I'm going to slide on my paper bead. Okay, and then using flat nose pliers. I got a set of 3 jewelry making pliers. I want to say they were $10. They may have been less. I'm going to get as close as I can, and I'm going to bend this finding pin at a 90-degree angle, like that. And then I'm going to switch to my round nose pliers, and I'm going to use my fingertip to measure about 1/4 inch. And actually I'm going to switch to my wire snips, and I'm going to snip this off so that my pin is only about 1/4 inch wide. And now I'm going to hold my round nose pliers at the very end of my pin, and I'm just going to twist it around the body of the pliers until I get a round opening. This takes a little bit of practice to get really good at it. Here I didn't start low enough on the base of the pliers to get a good loop, but there you can see it's a perfect round loop. You can put that on a jump ring, and then you're prepared to make the rest of your jewelry. I hope this helps.